Hey guys, first regardsman here, and I'll be talking about a max damage heavy bolter build for the heavy class in Space Marine 2. Now, on this build, I will be using the heroic heavy bolter Chains of Duty, on top of giving you guys a couple setup options, because there are multiple ways to actually put this together, and I'll be going through those today. So number one, the Chains of Duty heroic heavy bolter. This is the best heavy bolter in Space Marine 2 for multiple reasons. First of all, you will get a fencing parry window on this option, on top of the fact it will cool down your gun on every single gun strike, and there's also a hidden perk effect here that makes it so this weapon will reach max fire rate the moment you pull the trigger, unlike the relic tier options. You might be wondering, like, why does it actually do that? Well, the downside of this gun is that you will overheat significantly faster. You only have a venting speed of 2+, unlike the relic tier versions that'll have 4 or 9 on the venting speed version, and because of that, you will reach your max overheat significantly faster, so that fire rate means you're upping your damage tremendously. But this actually fits perfectly into a thermal boost build because you want to be overheated at like a high ammunition threshold, and when your ammunition drops, you get this damage bonus the entire time, so pretty great synergy there. Now, for the perk tree on this weapon, the best setup for damage, in my opinion, is going through fast venting first into the perk here, perfect cooling. After a perfect time dodge, the equipped weapon is completely cooled. So this weapon takes 5 business days to cool down compared to like every other version in the game. And because of that, I do prefer the cooling perks up here because perfect cooling gives you like a guarantee on a perfect dodge and a gun strike of perfectly cooling down your weapon immediately. Though if you want to go down here for like a little bit of weapon heating decrease, you can definitely do that. Now for the next perk here, I do take increased capacity. The maximum ammo reserve of this weapon increases by 20%. So this is a great value perk for multiple reasons on the heavy class, because the way the heavy bolter's ammunition works is that the larger base capacity you have, the more ammunition you're getting for perk effects like the discipline for 25% more damage at low ammo, on top of having greater triggers off of perks here like auxiliary reload, because this is a percentage based ammunition restore, so having a higher base capacity will give you more ammo back per trigger. So really good option for him there. Now I will say on this build we are skipping over heavy immunity, which is a very powerful perk because this one says while in heavy stance you do not lose 12 heavy hits, which allows you to just shoot back against zone throw balls and like sword attack warrior light attacks, which is pretty strong for us here. And if you really do want this perk, you have to skip over things like Adamant Hunter and Heavy Precision, which you can definitely do because, to be honest, while the damage buff here from Adamant Hunter is very strong, this perk effect, in my experience, does not trigger remotely enough to be worth it. And if you do take this, I would probably suggest taking Fortitude, because the 30% health increase here on top of stuff like Encompassing Aegis, Adamant Will, and Conviction will make you so tanky that being below 30% really does not matter that much. And even though I did take this for this run, I probably wouldn't suggest it because I don't think I had this one trigger a single time on my thermal boost run. So if you're using thermal boost, I would probably go for adamant restoration. And really this perk is more value in general because having drip fed ammo back to you will keep you around the baseline for perk effects like discipline and also perk effects like thermal boost, because both of these trigger at a low total ammo capacity, and the heavy very rarely has like maxed out ammo, and more of his ammunition comes from drip feeds like this. So really strong option. And also the way the heavy gets back his HP in this game is that the CHP recovery of like all of his heavy weapons is pretty damn strong, except for the Pyre Cannon, and usually you'll get damage nuked, you'll lose like 90% of your HP or like 70%. You will trigger this immediately, and this will trigger while your contested health is still active, so you will have the opportunity to get it all back while also getting the full effect of this perk, unlike Adamant Hunter. So overall, this one is better, but Adamant Hunter, the damage buff here while it's active is still very strong. Next perk I take here is Heavy Precision, up here into the perk Heavy Might. While in Heavy Stance you deal 15% more damage, because these two perks are just a no-brainer for a 30% damage buff. And the next perk here is Discipline. When you have low ammo, you'll deal 25% more damage. So this perk is an incredible damage buff. It triggers pretty much every single game multiple times, and like I said before, the way the heavy class gets back ammo on his heavy weapons like this is through a drip feed, which means you will hover around that low ammo threshold all the time throughout your game. On top of the fact, this will stack on top of things like thermal boost. They'll give you a 15% range damage buff while you have 50% ammo in your magazine capacity, and for a weapon like this, that just means when you're below 50% ammo, you'll just get like 15% buff, and then when you hit like the 25% here, or like 20%, you'll get another 25% buff for like a total of 40, so really strong option for him. Next perk here is Fast Venting, down here to the perk Perpetual Cooling, and the final one here is Divine Might for 10% damage buff. Though if you really want to like skip over these two, you could go up here for increased capacity for more ammo and like heavy immunity, or even go down here for like Perpetual Penetration, but this perk is really not worth taking at all in the heavy bolter, because the way penetration works in this game is that like your piercing values here are like already 4, so this weapon pierces like 3 or 4 enemies immediately from Majoris and above and stuff like that, and also the Hormigons. And the only place where you're really going to find like 5 enemies to go through is going to be against the Hormigons and Minoris that you already shred through, because this gun positively fucks up Hormigons anyway, so I'd really just skip over this. It's a pretty dead node, and I think it's far better on options like the Bolt Carbine, where if you take a perk like Crack and Penetrator rounds on top of a Bolt Carbine or a Heroic Deathwatch Stalker, because these have 1 piercing, you're just doubling your penetration here, so really worthwhile on them compared to this. And that is pretty much all there is for the Chains of Duty Heroic Heavy Bolter. Now, for the secondary, I do take the Heroic Plasma Pistol. I mean, where this gun has a burst damage in like terms of fire rate and contested health recovery, this one just damage nukes, where all you have to do is just charge up, one-shot entire clumps of Majoris, and like we've mentioned before many times, this is one of the best secondary weapons in Space Marine 2, if not the overall best. So for the perk tree here, I just go for ammo and blast radius. So number 1, plasma collection. Into the perk here, rapid cooling. Then we pick up plasma collection again, blast radius, perpetual velocity, down to plasma collection. And the final perks are blast radius, retaliation, and divine might. And that's all there is for the secondary here. Now for our main perk tree. Number 1, restoration, killing 7 enemies in rapid succession for armor segment. The cooldown is 15 seconds. This perk is just incredible, by far the best option in this column, because multi-kill even kind of sucks in the multi-melta, and auxiliary ammunition, this perk is just hilariously bad. Next perk here is thermal boost. When a ranged weapon is 50% overheated, or you have less than 50% ammo in the magazine, range damage increases by 15%. So you will trigger this all the time on this build. Like I mentioned before, the Heroic Heavy Bolter will overheat very quickly, so you will reach that 50% much faster in other heavy bolter options, and you'll also be at below 50% ammo total pretty often. So great option for damage, though obviously the better option here is fortitude for health increase of 30%, because with this you can just blow yourself up pretty much and sit at 30% HP and not really give a shit, because you will be so damn tanky, because a 30% base HP increase is making all of your damage reduction off of stuff like Conviction and Adamant Will and Encompassing Aegis that much more valuable. And in Space Marine 2, below 25% HP, you get a ramping damage reduction on top of that, which means a base HP increase is just that much more valuable. So definitely the best perk here, but thermal boost for damage, this is the best pick. Next perk here is Overwhelming Power. When Iron Halo is active, all team members within 10 meters deal 10% more range damage. This perk will trigger simultaneously with the perk over here, Brute Force, for another 15% buff for a 25 in total. And usually you'll trigger your Iron Halo and then go up into Thermal Boost immediately, so you'll get way more damage total than you expect. And honestly, you'll just explode heads in your game. It's pretty damn hilarious that all these perks work together like that, but this thing does a shocking amount of damage. Next perk here is your choice of Encompassing Aegis or additional supplies. In my run, I believe I took this one for a 25% ammunition buff, but if you want this, you can definitely take that instead. I think this one is the overall safer option, because a 25% range damage reduction for your entire team. This will apply to armor restoration as well, so a very powerful option. Next perk here is Adamant Will. After an Iron Halo deactivates, you will take 20% less health damage for 10 seconds. So on this build, we do take Field Adjustment, and if you use this perk, this one says Iron Halo recharges 20% faster, but its durability is reduced by 25%. This is a great perk with Adamant Will, because you can actually trigger this one immediately off and just trigger this perk over and over for the entire 10-second duration. It's like you can have this perk active 24/7 in your game pretty much. Usually I would suggest Power Regulator, because this one makes it so you pretty much have no downside in terms of durability over this one, because the cooldown actually comes out to be the same. But if you are spamming Adamant Will, this one is better. Next perk here is Brute Force, and the final perk is Offensive Capability. When active, Iron Halo deals damage over time to all enemies with 5 meters, because this is just even more damage, and this will wipe out Spore Mines, it will wipe out things like Bramble and Cultist. This is a super valuable perk. It also picks you up executes for free sometimes, and also just does free boss damage, so I would definitely pick this up. Next perk here for Prestige perk options are Reverberating Impact. AoE radius increases by 50%, Moving here into the perk Auxiliary Reload, melee kills of extremists or higher enemies restore your primary weapon's ammo by 1 magazine. This will trigger on a melee kill and like a melee execute as well, so keep that in mind. And next perk here is Conviction. When your armor is fully depleted, you will take 25% less health damage for 10 seconds. Of the prestige perk options, I think these three here with Indomitable Spirit, Auxiliary Reload, and Conviction are the most important because the damage reduction here is absurd. Space Marine 2 is a game where you cannot avoid 100% of damage, so damage reduction in a game like that will go up in value tremendously, and no knockback on gun strikes. This guarantees you contested health recovery occasionally against certain enemies or armor restoration. So I think these two here especially are very strong, and solving your ammo economy on this is also great. Now the final perk is kind of up to you. Like I mentioned before, I took a Reverberating Impact here, but if you want to take Exponential Force, you definitely can. But Duelist at the moment, this does not work on things like the balanced or the fencing weapons. It only works on blocks, so it's a dead perk on this class for like whatever reason. I believe the official reason is that it has a, like, it takes your frames beyond what an active parry window can actually be on certain things, but for the most part, I would just skip over this. And that is all there is to this build, guys. The Heroic Heavy Bolter does a disgusting amount of damage in this game, and between the two top tier options of this class, with like the Heroic Heavy Plasma in general, and the Heavy Bolter, I think this is the overall best, just because having a fencing parry window gives you so many opportunities to deflect enemies you would just be stuck on otherwise with things like a balanced parry window. And hopefully this build guide helped you. And if you like content like this, subscribe for more, and as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye.
Iron Halo protocol in progress. Observe ground. Suppress any tyranny unit. Ravenous put down. Xenos countermeasures successful.
Shoot him in the ass, see? It's much better than here.
Thermal explosive. Ready. Elite level Xenos. Pacified. Iron Halo ready. Revenant High Tyranny obliterated. Tyrannid invasion thwarted.
What about damage buff?
Bioform neutralized.
Another question is, was Adamant Hunter worth taking here? Maybe not. I don't think Adamant Hunter's as good as Magazine Restoration, just because the drip feed of HP is a bit better. Because usually on this class, in my experience, when you do lose HP on this guy, you almost always get back like at least half of it because of how your guns work. So having a perk that triggers on the HP loss but not the CHP loss is usually a bit better than one that requires you to be at low HP. But hey, damage is damage, and like maybe it'll help us later.
Enhanced tactic ready. Shield confirmed. Major Tyranid threat.
All hail the SM2 goat. Where is he?
We approach the reclamation center entrance.
The hive ships are moving into range of the capillary towers. We are in Kadaka's final
You ever play
hours.
Siege? I play a lot of Siege, but Siege mode isn't like, I mean, the patch 13 rework wasn't very interesting, and Siege mode has not really, it's been kind of an undercooked mode for about a year now.
Iron Halo tactics. Level Xenos. Pacify.
I'm curious to see what the player numbers are. I'm pretty sure more people play Siege now than they did after, but Siege has not been remotely as popular as it was upon the initial release. But part of that's because also because the mode itself is undercooked.
Cut off its call for aid. Now. Enemy request prevented.
Okay.
Zone removed from combat.
I like Siege for a bit of dumb fun. I think it's actually a more popular mode now than it was in like the year after they released it initially, because Siege mode was really only interesting for a select few players. I think it's actually more casual friendly now than it was before, but
Iron Halo online.
the reason I like Siege is like Siege pushing, stuff like that when it came out, and that's not really fun anymore. Now it's just grenade launcher spam. It's not even fun to watch.
We are committed to this course. The reclamation machines are inactive.
We must find and wake up all of the machine consoles to reach the battle.
Enhanced tactic ready. Intercepting projectiles. The fortress remains sealed. We have to activate these consoles.
Oops.
Iron Halo ready. High priority turret eliminated. Victor marked our presence. Iron Halo online. Military Club fortress remains sealed. We have to activate these consoles.
Admin Hunter will trigger eventually. One day.
Xenos countermeasures successful.
This gun's actually surprisingly good with thermal boost. I kind of like underestimated how fast this one overheats compared to other options, because the big problem with all the heavy vultures in this game is that they don't overheat very fast. This one overheats very quickly. That's why they have the reinforced gunstrike perk. It actually helps us out here and use your restart damage bonus a lot more quickly.
We will remove this material. Ready.
That's sort of down here, isn't it?
Invasive material located.
If we are to fix this, we must destroy the spores that spawn these mines.
We'll check for the relic down here, why not?
Enhanced tactic ready.
They'll trigger off of half ammo too, so always be on a certain point. That's also true. That's why it's good.
Restart.
You do give up the best perk,
Engaging elite countermeasures.
but that's okay.
Rather beneath our boots.
Can I just awaken the consoles? That's too much to ask.
Spawn lines inbound.
Yeah, I thought about taking Perpetual Penetration on this, but that perk is totally redundant. It's already have a 4 piercing on the heavy bolter. That the only time that's ever really coming into play is against Hormigons, and you're already shred through them
Symptoms indicate the presence
ever
of
since the body
consoles.
shot damage buff.
Kill confirmed. Major Tyranid threat. Iron Halo ready. Execute Iron Halo tactics.
Return to available console to reawaken.
Iron Halo online. Iron Halo protocol in progress. Mark Xenos to battle. Specialized bioform neutralized.
That is a lot of extra damage. Feels good. That heavy rework better given the option to use a knife. I mean, if they gave this guy a melee weapon, he just becomes way more entertaining to play. It really depends, because you gotta think where the 11th edition codex is gonna be like,
Iron Halo ready.
right? But that might affect Space Marine 2. If they just suddenly say in like one random codex, like, oh, also you could your heavy here gets a your heavy intercessor gets a combat knife, then why not just add it to the game?
High priority Tyranid. Eliminate. Enhanced tactic ready.
I was just watching how you have a suppressor on your bolt pistol. It's just the Raven Guard champion skin. And want to do the hard weekly. Dude, that one sucks.
We have to activate these
Also on
consoles.
disruption, and disruption, I don't know if it's just me, chat. Disruption eats my frames, like it devours them. Relentlessly devours my frames in this game. Metal 5, I think the tier 1 for 3 months in advance. Thanks for being a pimp, FTG. I don't know if I'm a pimp.
Connection to core controls established. Praise the Messiah. System restoration complete. Primary controls reset.
Halo 1. We can go. Open the door.
I gotta say, it's just shockingly effective. Maybe I was sleeping on thermal boost of the heroic heavy bolter.
Head onto the cannons and remind the Xenos of whom they dare to
Me too, is dropping to 30. Yeah, this game's performance is a little sus on some maps. Oh, a relic? Well, now we're just cooking.
Relic possesses restorative properties. Ready for next encounter.
Does it change the sound? Yeah, it does.
Kill confirmed. Major Tyranid threat. Observe ground. Conversion in operation. Prepare to counter.
That's what I mean. Your guns get you back so much CHP on this guy that Admin Hunter doesn't really like the trigger.
Xeno's countermeasure was successful.
Oh, if I've been a tier 1.
Intercepting projectiles.
Alright, let's just do this. We're just gonna charge this all the way up for thermal boost as well.
Iron Halo online. Iron Halo protocol in progress. Deploying crack grenade. Terminated Victor class combatant. Rabbit kill confirmed.
This week's hard strat is easy as fuck, but bots using FG's combi flamer build. Yeah, the sniper is just cracked in hard strats and off. It's definitely the best class for them right now. I've seen a lot of people say like, oh, Tax the best class, you know, Bulwark's the best class. I kind of agreed for a long time, but I was like, wait a second. Sniper just wins 100% of the time, pretty much. Sniper wins 100% of the time on some of the most broken modifier setups in the entire game. That's the really crazy part. And Space Marine 2 is also a game where like you cannot avoid 100% of damage, which means other classes will just suffer and die eventually, where he won't. We're like put into a 100 match string.
Elite level Xeno. Pacified. None of my combatants before it rallies more enemies. Before it summons reinforcements. Additional enemies
Sniper purification is so OP. It certainly is.
detected.
Pretty nuts.
Eradicated. A resupply down. Target Xenos bio. Iron Halo ready. Conversion field operational.
I mistimed that.
Iron Halo online. Ammunition restocked. The lift will take us to the cannons.
I gotta say, I'm getting way more value out of thermal boost this game than I thought I would. Maybe it's not actually much of a gimmick here. I mean, Fortitude is just such an enormously powerful perk that I would obviously recommend that, because then you can kind of just trigger Adamant Hunter and not care. But Adamant Hunter doesn't trigger that much on this guy in general, in my opinion. Like, you kind of have to play around it. You have to, like, damage yourself, which I don't think most players are going to want to do.
Eyes on the Hierophant.
It will fall to the Emperor's might. To the cannons!
Specialized bioform neutralized.
What a nerd. He knows the perk names and how they work. Yeah, it could be indie pride. What are you up to, Indy? Are you gassed for Total War 40k? I'd imagine so. What's good? What's up, Jack? Well, wow, everyone's here today. Look at that.
Iron Halo ready. Intercepting projectiles.
You are near the last cannons. You will need to find the manual controls to operate them.
Console located. Enhanced tactic ready. Kill confirmed. Major Tyranid threat.
Defensive cannons active. Targeting system non-functional. Initializing secondary system.
Solid hit.
No, what's that? True. Only the biggest 40k game ever.
Stick that hurt it.
Bang.
Xenos countermeasures successful. The Hierophant aims its weapons at this. Solid hit.
Defense cannons depleted. Engage auxiliary generators to resume fire.
Iron Halo ready. Zone for contact. Ready anti-cycle tactics. Specialized. It expel. Activate the generators. Recharge the last cannons. Zones neutralized. Feed the cannons with the energy from the generators.
Oh, that's awkward.
Iron Halo online. The Hierophant aims
That's where heavy immunity's nice because you wouldn't have God, I hate this finale.
Iron Halo protocol in progress.
This finale is the only part of this mission I don't like. Everything else is fine.
Generators.
Yeah, if you're really trying to min-max fuel adjustment, okay.
Diversion field operational.
Oh, Termagon's gotta die. Termagons actually do a surprising amount of HP damage.
Generator active expels its pollution. Cannons ready.
What's up with the gray border on his name? That's because he's a verified YouTuber. After like 100k subs, you get a big old plaque that confirms you are. I mean, I guess a YouTube verified guy.
Communion successful. Cannon targeting enabled.
Bang.
That hurt it. The Hierophant aims its weapons at us. Keep space from the Tyranid's biological waste.
You've played 2 heavy games since the cave was released. I can start anytime. Start playing more anytime. Think about how much fun you could be having.
solid hit.
Oh my god, it's dropping right on me.
It expels its pollution.
Oh, he just fucking died. We're too powerful.
Become defiled by the
Can I even hit him from here?
explosions.
Yes.
It is death.
I think I've ever shot them from over there before.
Recharge the last cannons.
I mean, this guy's gonna miss his shots like entirely here now. Now this game always gives you like one extra horde, I find. So every time I play
Intercepting projectiles.
on this fucking map, yeah, give me that. Now all you guys can just die. Yeah, every time I play this map, it always gives me like one horde more than I wanted. I want none, so I should say it really gives me infinitely more. This is risky business, not actually. Okay.
Engaged. We can fire the defensive cannons. Iron Halo online. Engaging elite countermeasures. Phoenix displaying evasive behavior. Elite level C. Classified. It expels its pollution.
I don't know, directly landed on my face.
Iron Halo ready. Execute Iron Halo tactics. Tyranid unit sighted. Zone probe tag. Engage light shields. Zone probe. Perk. Xenos countermeasures. Successful. The Hierophant aims its weapons at us.
Now, I'm pretty sure Admin Hunter has triggered for a grand total of... Well, I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Hold on. I'm pretty sure Admin Hunter's triggered for a grand total of like 3 seconds here. 8-hour match. Probably less than that, actually.
One line. Steer clear of
Alright, we're just doing this now. Here. Bang. How do you feel about the combi Melta on tactical? It's actually pretty good. Actually makes up for like a lot of his struggles where it gives you stagger, it gives you HP back, it gives you pretty decent ammo economy, it gives you horde clear options. I like that gun. I don't think it's like a top tier option. I think it's just solidly mediocre. Pretty good. I would take it over the normal bolters. Say that. What a hoot that was. You're about to have it last longer before you stim. That's true. That's the problem with thermal boost is you're actually pretty squishy if you lose all of your HP.